And welcome back to the Lucia Show as we conquer this whole concept of accumulation advisory services and decumulation advisory services. And it's rare that you find someone that's got it down, including Mr. Pastula, who is an expert in the decumulation side of the house. Gene, thank you very much for joining me. You're the man.
Sure isn't that hot on the accumulation.
Yeah, well, you know, you and I spent a lot of years trying to figure that one out.
It doesn't seem like I am.
It's very, very hard for, I mean, I don't know how my kids and others that are involved in the money management business have the temperament to do it. I mean, that's life shortening. I know, because for many years I attempted to do it with my own money and client money, and I chose after a while, because I don't believe that you can be a good planner, a good financial advisor, and a good stock picker and money manager all at the same time. It's kind of like insurance.
Yeah.
You know, looking at all of the nuances in property and casualty coverages, and then life insurance and disability and long-term care. It's almost like you need to be a specialist in whatever field you're in today.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to a specialty, because I never could feel comfortable that I was making, you know, all the right decisions for a client. You know, it's his money, and I'm telling him what to do with it, whether you're picking a stock or you're picking a stock picker. You know, it's a stressful thing. A lot of people have a better feel for it, and they feel more comfortable and what have you. But I didn't.
So I went through these various risks. I'm sure you heard me talk about it.
Right.
You know, inflation risk and longevity risk and so forth. And you know, you being here, it obviously brings to mind the concept of annuitizing income.
Yeah, you know, when you put all this together, these are the things, and I think most people don't even really, I mean, they don't define it as tightly as you have and say, you know, I'm afraid of this and that and the next thing. All they know is that there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty when, and it's a much bigger deal when you have to rely on the performance of that of that portfolio or the assets that you've accumulated in order to sustain a lifestyle going forward for a period of time you don't even know for sure how long it's going to be. There's a lot of, on both sides, you know, what to do and for how long are the two major ones. And by the way, am I going to get sick or really decapitated? Do what? I don't forget what the word was, but you got it? No?
I'm still trying to figure out how ISIS got into this conversation.
But you know, so you don't know when, you know, something can strike health-wise that could, you know, a stroke or something, that, you know, a trip and a fall or what have you. I mean, I've seen all of it that just, you know, even cuts that time short or changes the environment.
Okay, but hang on.
Yeah.
The 900-pound elephant in the room is I hate annuities. I'll never sell an annuity. I'm a broker, financial guy that makes money charging you 1 or 2% to manage it, and I can manage it better than the annuity company can manage it.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that most people can only handle so much detail. And while annuities are quite complicated, but so is the market and the techniques and all the strategies and all the rest of the stuff that go into that. And I work with financial planners, have for years, all over the country. And you know, basic theme that runs through them is that they get really confident. I can't tell you whether they're good or not, but they're confident in their ability to recommend strategies and processes going forward when it comes to investments, because they know a lot of the details. They can't also know all the details about annuities. So, you know, it's not their business and what have you. And so it gets a bad rap. But the most important thing that comes out of it for me is that you really need to understand that there's bad in everything. I mean, there's bad cars, there's bad mutual funds, there's bad everything, you know, and there's annuities that aren't all that great either. But on the other hand, if you understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, and you can relate that to somebody who has the ability to sift through that and narrow down the best idea or the best strategy or product that will accomplish your goals, now all of a sudden you have a really good annuity, and it'll do what you want it to do.
Okay, but hang on. Let's go back. Fees are high.
No.
Commissions are high. You're ripping me off, and the guy that manages money only gets paid if he makes money for me.
Right. Actually, that's not true. The guy that manages money gets paid every year based on a percentage of the amount of money he's managing. Now, a few of them will say, but I won't take it unless the value goes up. But for the most part, they get paid regardless of the direction of the fund. But there are annuities, like variable annuities, that have a lot of fees in them that relate to a lot of benefits that they provide. So you can question whether that's high, low, or indifferent, but unless you're actually an actuary and a financial guy, an insurance company, you really don't know whether it's good, bad, or different.
Didn't Moshe Milevsky come out about 10 or 15 years ago saying to all the insurance companies, you're not charging enough in fees for those annuities? Well,
actually, if you look at the way annuities have kind of metamorphosized over the last 20 years, you can see just when they decided that, whoa, wait a minute, the benefits that we're promising and now we're paying are a lot more expensive than what we priced for, and they make these adjustments and what have you. They're not, for the most part, they're not out there to rip the public off. They're out there to provide benefits that only they can provide, like guaranteeing that you will receive an income, if that's the kind of annuity you're getting, for as long as you live, no matter how long you live, regardless of whether or not we've used up all the money and all the interest it ever earns that you've given us. And we have to guarantee that. Okay, so there's a price for that.
But there are annuities that have no fees, period?
Actually, the majority of the ones that are actually being promoted now are those kinds that here's the deal, No, there might be one fee in there. They tell you it's right there, and that's it. And so if you learn about them, you see that kind of stuff is not true.
Okay, so if you want to get all of the scoop on this stuff, and by the way, if you spend as much time doing research as I do on retirement planning, you will find that literally every study that we've seen in the last 10 years that's come out has said annuitizing a percentage of your retirement wealth is the best thing you can do. More on this when we come back with Gene Pastula, SafeMoneyMonitor.com. Stick around.